Good afternoon, y'all. We're back in the studio shed, if that's what we're calling it now. I have the market update. So I'm going to go over some quick numbers and then get into my more narrative kind of approach to what this all means. So let's just jump right into it. Out of the stats were all just released for cumulative November 2020. And most of the ones I'm going to quote are for single family resale homes. You know, the numbers were released for condos and every type new construction. I'm going to focus on that unless I cite otherwise, because there are a few other numbers I want to talk about. But City of Austin, the closed price of a single family home on average was at 100.4% of the list price. That's the closed number. So that means that on average homes were going under contract much more, right? And then during option, they renegotiate, etc. But on average, they're closing for more by 0.04% than the list price, which tells you a lot. It tells you a lot about demand, scarcity in the market. And so I'll get into a few of those in specific here, but let's talk about dollar volume. So November dollar volume, so of all the single family residential homes sold, was $463,547,252. So that is up 65.7% from November 2019. So we obviously see the impact of COVID, right? Because typically in this part of the year, we're not seeing dollar volume up that significantly unless it was kind of like an undulation of the market. But this is showing a massive amount more than last year, which means it's just a year-long extreme seller's market buying season for most tiers of the market. The average price, $586,000 and change, up 22.3% year over year. And again, this is the average number, so we're going to see some sway from that for, you know, homes that are exceptionally above that number, kind of affecting the average. Our median is right at $450,000. So that number tells us, which is still a very strong number. So 450K is 13.6% up year over year. Year to date, that's up 11.5%. So around the same thing. Days on market is 20, average. Okay, I'll also note that the median City of Austin days on market was 8. So personally, I would think along more of the 8 days on market number. But again, there's things skewing that a lot. You know, some houses may have sat for a long time for a number of weird reasons, but that's what's happening. Active listings, 363 single family resale active listings in City of Austin. So months of inventory is 0.5 for single family resale. So half a month of inventory. I'll kind of give a little analogy. So for the active listings for November, compare it to like going to something obviously pre-COVID where there's 363 people that were all single and like wanted to be coupled up with somebody, and you had like an infinite number of people flooding in, like in line to get into this event. At that rate, it would take 14 days for all those people to be coupled up with someone, aka for a house to find a buyer. That's what the absorption rate in the inventory. I know it's a very weird way of explaining it. I've wanted to think of something that makes it more sense, but that just shows you that's not a lot. There's not a lot to choose from, but there's infinite demand in Austin right now. So I'm going to come up with some more figures and kind of things to demonstrate that. But if I could just have an infinity symbol to symbolize demand right now, that's what I would do for Austin. We are showing no shortage of that. And more specifically, the demand is targeted towards some certain things. So if you have a house like this and you're thinking about selling, tune in, because a lot of buyers are coming and wanting the same thing, which is causing scarcity in homes that are 3-bedroom, 2-bath, you know, the classic kind of, you know, layout for someone that may want to start a family, already has a kid, etc. Turnkey is the most important thing in this market. So they want to walk in and be ready to occupy that house day one. And there's not a lot of tolerance for tons of cosmetic updating. People will do it, but we kind of we shift pricing and different structures around, right? But the most significant demand, I think everybody would agree, is move-in ready properties. And the buyers are showing that they're going to pay a premium to already have that done. because of the lack of inventory, especially for homes like this, because a lot of people, a lot of contractors, builders are very, very busy right now and not necessarily available to everyone. That's why they want move-in ready, and they'll just pay for it. So if you have a move-in ready house that you want to sell, that is the best position to be in. But really, we're seeing things are mobilizing at all different strata of the market. So, keep that in mind. There are a lot of active investors looking to either find a property that they can rehab with their crew and make it into one of those kind of prime houses, a 3-2 move-in ready, or ones that they can add on to. And, there's just a lot of different, there's demand at all levels of the market. And just keep in mind kind of who the buyers are. So we have a lot of these headquarters that have been announced, Oracle moving their HQ here. We have Tesla people moving here and jobs opening up for different, the Boring Co, the tunneling company. We have, the Tesla manufacturing opening. We have tons and tons of companies. I saw a stat the other day, there's over 150 Y Combinator companies that there's just so many new seed to early stage startup companies growing in Austin as well that'll be hiring. So the demand is going to be what those people are coming here to do, to work, where do they want to live, where are they going to have their offices. There's commercial growth happening all over as well in Austin, not just in downtown, but there's big developments in East Austin and South Austin that are commercial happening that could be office space once we pass COVID era for all of that. So kind of keep those things in mind. New construction, we're also seeing very, very limited inventory, and prices are going up for new construction as well, because again, people want turnkey where they can find it. Condo market is a little softer. We're seeing more days on market, seeing the average price dip, under 10% of a dip year over year, but there's still a little bit more inventory there because typically the sprawl has been out of multifamily, out of higher density into lower or no density into your own home. But out of condos that are faring the best are low density buildings. So super, super interesting. I would say reach out if you want things tailored to your zip code, to your area, to your house. That's really there's just an endless amount of interesting data that I can send to you and talk about. And this is just the overall in Austin market. So let me tweak it for you because it'll tell you a lot more. And you'd be surprised, even if you bought your house a year ago, what may be the situation now and kind of what your move is. So let me know. I'm around. And until next week.